So last night I was off a Kanan road and I was going through the tunnel when I was accelerating in third gear quite hard when I heard a loud pop. Now this time it wasn't my exhaust or the car backfiring. It was something else because it was louder than I've ever heard it before. Anyway, I paid no mind to it because the car was reacting just well. However, the moment I decided to shift out of third gear into another gear, it would not let me switch back into any gear once it was in neutral. Aside from that, the clutch pedal was sunk very low to the ground. I could pick it up with my foot, but it did not want to come back up, and it was extremely soft. So no matter how much I pushed it, since it was sunken low, every time I tried to push it to the floor, it only had like an inch or less of room there, and it would not allow me to move the shifter into any gear. So I turned off the car and pulled over. Now when I tried to turn it back on, it would not allow me. As I was holding the clutch and I tried to turn it back on, and I heard this weird noise. After a few tries, it finally did. Now what I did is I had it off, I put it in first gear, and then I tried turning it on there, since I knew that once it was on, it would not let me shift into the gear. And it worked. I got it on and I got it to drive off with it in first gear. I then went for the second gear shift to see if that would work, and unfortunately it was not allowing me to. After a few more tries and a forced shift, it went into second and then into third. I drove home the remainder of the way in third gear. Once I made it home and I turned off the car, it would not allow me to turn it back on again or shift it into gear. I'm trying to see if my issue is the clutch master or slave cylinder or my clutch itself. Someone mentioned that it might be the bearing. Now my clutch had been having issues where sometimes it would, when I would shift, it would stay stuck to the floor, but it would always come back up eventually. The car was not slipping though, the clutch that is. It did feel soft at times and very weak when I pushed the car too hard, but other than that it gave me no issues, and I was getting good response until the last few weeks. I did notice the response wasn't at 100%, but it wasn't a significant change either. Well, now we got to figure this out, and let me go ahead and show you. See, if I push this down, that's where it stays. It's pretty much right there on the floor. I could pull it back up. I should also mention that my clutch was squeaking a lot every time I was using it. Push it back down. Let's see if we can turn the car on. Oh, it is. See, but now it's in neutral. So last night I couldn't even turn it on. Well, it kept doing the same thing. It would struggle because I guess the clutch is a big facilitator in turning on the car and turning over the engine. But look at this now. If I try to shift it, I can't. You hear that noise too? Let's pop the hood and see if I can determine what that sound is. Can you see that? It's idling just fine. It revs just fine, but it does do that. hear all that scratching? I hope that has nothing to do with the engine. Let me warm it up and see if I can move it, okay? Every time I hold the clutch down, listen to that. Yeah, something's wrong there. Something's very wrong. No matter what I do, it won't allow me to shift it into gear. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to put it into gear, and now I'm going to turn it on like this. And look, it's going. I got it in gear. When the clutch was pushed down, I felt something scratching, and you heard all that noise. Now that I pulled the clutch up, or should I say the clutch pedal up, it's cruising just fine. If I try to go to second though, it won't let me. And the moment I stop, more than likely the car will die. I'm gonna have to take it out of gear. So we'll just go to second gear. Oh, I got it into second. That was cool. It was just a little bit of a struggle, but I was able to get it into second. Look, I'm gonna have to call one of those in a bit, because I'm gonna have to take it somewhere to get this issue fixed, because I need it fixed today. I would do it myself if I knew what it was and had the tool to do it. Okay, let's park it here. Oh, every time I push the pedal to the floor, I get this loud sound and this grindy ass feel to it. Back in neutral. So the whole time I was driving, there was no obstructions. It didn't feel like the engine was reacting differently, like the transmission was reacting differently. It was nice and smooth. But that noise persists. Something is up. I wonder what it is. Now that it's quite warm, I'm gonna turn it off. As you know, you don't turn RX8s off without them being warmed up. Well, let's go figure this out so we can take care of the issue.